Hello sorcerers, welcome back to the channel as we continue our adventure through the 4 elements pre-constructed decks for Sorcery Contested Realm. And today we are going to go through pre-constructed water deck. Manipulate with the charm and trickery of water. Contains a starter deck for a single player. Let's have a look at what's inside. As before, very safely stored in here with this foam. So let's get these cards out. All right. A little bit of a ding on the side of these ones. If you can see that there, it's a little bit raised up. But it's just a pre-constructed deck. I'm not going to be grading these, I'm going to be playing with them, so a bit on that side too. Not the end of the world. Alright, we have a beautiful avatar of water. Severine's art for these 4 avatars is really stunning. Beautiful. All right. Diluvian Kraken. Look at this guy. I do want to mention the card quality, this stuff aside, but the actual card stock is really, really good. Just feels good quality. So we have an elite monster of benthic horror. Lovely. The Unland Angler, an elite beast, lurks and lures. Wouldn't want to be that guy. He's like, oh, go towards the light. Don't go towards the light. Guile Sirens. Beautiful. This is a Elvira Shakarova art. Lovely. Exceptional merfolk. Croon a captivating chorus. Tide Naiads. Despite being different artists, there's definitely you can feel the theme across these water cards. So we've got 2 Tide Naiads in the deck. Some more merfolk, deep sea mermaids. 2 of those. Anui Undine. I believe this was originally going to be the Avatar of Water art. Also beautiful. 0 power, but gets 1 power +1 for each sight in her body of water. So again, we'll go through the gameplay later on, but in a separate video. But using the sights will go on each of these spots. So if there's 4 water sights here and she's on one of them, then she'll have +4 power, and there could be even more than 4 sights. So potentially quite powerful until she gets out of the water. So here's our first unique of this starter. Mother Nature. At the start of your turn, reveal your topmost spell. If it's a minion, you may summon it here for free. That seems pretty busted. And like, who'd want to attack that? You can't attack Mother Nature. Swan Maidens. Some lovely artwork again. Just an ordinary card, but we only have 1 copy in the deck. Swamp Buffalo. An ordinary beast. This is like a 1 casting cost 2-power creature. Yeah. Good to get down early. Coral Reef Kelpie. Some Melissa Benson artwork here. An Ordinary Beast of Tidal Wilderness. We get 2 of those. Some more Melissa Benson art here for these polar bears. So here's where you can see some of the gameplay of how the sites work. Where if you've got a site that's in this spot and a site that's up the top here in the 4th spot, polar bears can move as if they were connected because North and South Pole. Interesting. Sedge crabs. You got crabs? I've got crabs. Sedge crabs. Megamoeba, an elite card here. Moves by extending a single pseudopod from any part of itself. It occupies all locations it has ever occupied and has +1 power for each. Super interesting card. So we'll start on this side here and then move up here, but still stay here and get +1 power for each site. Really interesting card. Brobdingnag Bullfrog. An exceptional beast with a giant appetite. When it enters the battlefield, Genesis, it swallows another target minion here and carries it disabled in its belly until it leaves the realm. Excellent flavor. Is what it says when it eats your minions, but it is an excellent flavor card. Sea Serpent. Pretty ordinary card. Pirate Ship. 4 to play, 5 power, waterbound. So the ship has to stay in the water. Beautiful art though on that. So much detail. Marine Voyage. So this is a spell, exceptional magic, for the Shrewd Seafarer. This turn your units can move between any sites in a chosen body of water as if they were adjacent. So normally units can only move 1 space at a time, but if all of this is water, and you've got a unit here, you can move it over here. Sneaky. Dodge roll. A couple of those. Drown. Submerge target minion or artifact if able. So water sites, which we'll go through at the back here. You can submerge on a water site. So if your unit has a submerge ability, such as our Sea Serpent here, you can submerge a Sea Serpent underwater and it can't be attacked. But if you submerge a unit that doesn't have the submerge ability, such as this pirate ship, then it dies. Which makes sense, because you can't live underwater unless you have the ability to do so. So, pretty powerful card. You get a couple of those. Frost Nova. Freeze nearby enemy minions, they're disabled until your next turn. Makes sense. Ice Lance. Shoot a piercing projectile. Deal 3, then 2, then 1 damage to up to 1 unit at each of the first 3 locations along its path. So if you have your unit here casting the spell, you can do 3 damage, 2 damage, 1 damage. So yeah, pretty useful there. If you line the enemy units up correctly. Riptide. Target water site pulls in an above ground unit it's adjacent to. Interesting. And you get to draw a card. Love those cantrips. Upwelling. Exceptional magic of fluid undoing. Target nearby site, return each artifact and minion there to its owner's hand. There is no height to which confident fools cannot ascend. Flood. You'd expect that in the water deck. Affected sites are flooded. They become water sites. So this is an aura. This is kind of the enchantment of Sorcery Contested Realm. So auras generally are summoned on the corner of multiple sites. So if you've got a water site here, but your opponent's played 3 earth sites in these locations, they become water sites, which then allows all of your submerge units and spells that can do things to submerge opponents' units to take advantage of that. So again, some strategy coming into play there. We have Wrath of the Sea. Look at that. Flood all adjacent sites to a body of water this turn, then submerge all minions and artifacts. So kill everything next to a water site, basically. That's why it costs 7. Very powerful. Sunken Treasure. If cast, conjure this under an allied's water site of an opponent's choice. When it's carried to the surface, its controller sacrifices it and draws 2 cards. So assuming that only you have submerged creatures, if you're playing against a non-water deck, they're not even going to be able to do that. So seems pretty good. And that's our last spellbook card. So we'll move on to the sites. Look at the colours on that. Matt Thames, great work. Great work, Matt. So we've got Spring River. So most of the rivers will have Genesis look at your next spell. You may put it on the bottom of your spellbook. So for those who play Magic, a bit of scry action. You get to have a peek and put it at the bottom if you don't want it next turn. So I've got 3 Spring Rivers. Summer River. Different name, different artwork, but same Genesis ability. Obviously providing 1 water threshold and 1 mana. As all sites do provide 1 mana, unless they specifically say they do not. Autumn River. Do we have a Winter River as well? We do not. But we do have Undertow, an exceptional site of strong undercurrents. Staying within this body of water, move target unit 1 step. That's interesting. So you can move an enemy unit if you want to, or you can move one of yours. I've got two Undertows. Then we have Floodplain, an exceptional site of intermittent inundation. Once on your turn, you may flood an adjacent site to this turn. Not a Genesis ability though, so unless it means once, you can only do it once. I'll check the ruling on that. You'd have 2 floodplains though, so minimum you can do it twice. Tadpole Pool, a unique site, a nursery for nuisance. Genesis, summon 3 submerged frog tokens here, but you do need 3 water threshold to do that. Frog tokens, don't have the frog ones here. Here are the foot soldiers. I think there's some frog ones in here actually. Frog tokens are 1 power units, I believe. Yeah. I'm pretty sure there'll be some frog units, frog tokens in here. Here we go. Little froggies. I know there's zero power, but you get a few different ones. A little chubby little frog here. I think we've got a couple more sites to go. We have Maelstrom. Wow, look at that one. A unique site of ineluctable. Ineluctable? What is that word? Ineluctable. Malevolence. At the start of your turn, you may pull in each minion in this body of water 1 step. Drag them in from around the battlefield. And finally, we have Island Leviathan, an elite site of dormant monstrosity. Once you have 8 water threshold, so 8 sites, because I don't believe any of these have more than one threshold. But once you have 8 of them, you can transform it into an 8-power monster and place a flooded rubble underneath. Rubble being a site that's been demolished. And there you go, that is the pre-constructed water deck. Looks like this one's got a bit of card advantage, bit of tempo. Looks like it'll be fun to play. Thanks for joining me. It's the second pre-constructed deck we've gone through. We've got a couple more here to go. So I'll catch you for those next time.